Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a 2019 Lexus RX450 hybrid. And we got a little repair on this. Actually, I guess it could be a rebuild because this repair would total a lot of vehicles. We need to replace this mirror. Apparently it's expensive because it does all kinds of things. It's got a blind spot monitor, it's power folding. Well, it was at one time, it's not anymore. It's a power mirror, it's heated, and it has a little surround view camera. It also does your taxes, washes your dishes, and tells you when the garage is just a little bit narrower than the vehicle. The one thing it doesn't do is bounce back when you bounce it off the side of the garage. So now it's kind of broken, plastic's all broken, it doesn't fold anymore, and the blind spot monitor doesn't work. So we're gonna have to replace it. So let's get it off of here and get our new one on. We'll start by pulling the cover off behind the door handle. We can expose the screw that's back there. We don't need a lot of tools for this job. Just a little pick to get all the covers off. Screwdriver you can borrow from Philip, and a 10mm ratchet and an extension. We're going to pop our window switches out of there. Careful not to stab the door panel or your fingers. Preferably your fingers, those heal. Customers complain about the door panel. Just one plug on the back of that, and there's a screw back there. Get that out of there. And attempt to not drop it in the door panel. Not that it matters, we're pulling the door panel off anyway, we can find it later. We're going to pull a little carpet out of the door pocket here. Grab handle. And there's a screw down there. Spin that one out of there. And there's one more back here inside of our rubber baby buggy bumper. Pull that out. And we're ready for a little wiggle and pull. There's actually a slot in the bottom of that door panel for you to get your fingers in. Just pull it out and lift it up. And then we got like 100 wires on the back of here to disconnect. We'll get the door handle. It's got a cable that goes to it. Just unclips and then pops out. Gives us a little more room to get back here. A couple more plugs. And we got the door lock. It's got two little arms on it. Just squeeze them and it pops out of there. Those are the arms. And there's one more at the bottom. That's for our light. You can pop the light out. It's easier to unplug it now and then pop it out later when the door panel's on the floor. Now that our door panel's out of the way, we can start unplugging our mirror. Plug in the module there. And there's another wiring harness down here. And clip it from this little cover. And we can spin this cover off of here. You need to use a socket on it or a screwdriver. I'm procrastinating going to get the socket, so we'll just use our screwdriver. And the top of it unclips. We'll peel back our little mini water barrier stickers, and that allows us access to the bolts for the bottom of the mirror. Actually, the nuts. Hopefully we won't drop them down in the door. Just break them loose, and we can spin them out by hand. There's only 3. And we'll hang out of the mirror so we don't end up scratching the door if it falls off. And there's a clip that holds it on, so we just kind of wiggle and pull, get that clip out, fish our wires out of there, and we'll go unpack our new one. Well, new to our car. It's a used one, because it was way cheaper than a new one. We'll stuff our wires down in the door. We'll line up our studs. We'll use that fancy clip to hold our mirror in, but I have trust issues, so I'm also going to hold on to the wires before I get these nuts started, because I don't want the mirror falling down the side of the door. I have the same trust issues that the YouTube experts have with my channel. Once we get our nuts started on there, we're good. Torque them down to manufacturer specs. Click. And then we'll put our little water barrier stickers back up here. Make sure it's nice and flat and there's no air pockets in there. They are reusable. They stick pretty well. Put our little cover back here. It's also another water barrier. Lexus went fancy. No sticky plastic here. Put our screws back in the bottom. Tighten those down to manufacturer specs. We can clip our wiring harness into that cover and plug in all of our plugs. Now we're ready to put our door panel on. Snap the door lock in there. We'll push the wire through for our light. We pop that out so we can plug it in later. A couple speaker wires up there. Lock switches. Fish our wires through for our windows. Hopefully it won't fall back out of there. Slide our door panel down on the top of the door and smash it onto the door. Put a rubber baby buggy bumper in the back. Click. We'll put our screw behind our door handle. Click. And then we'll snap the cover in. One more screw in our grab handle here. We'll reinstall our carpeting. We'll put our last screw in here that's hidden behind our window switches. And hopefully not drop it down in the door and have to repeat this whole process all over again. Crisis averted. Plug in our window switches and snap them down in the door. We can plug in our little puddle light at the bottom. Stuff our wires in there and clip it in. And before we celebrate that the job is done, let's check and make sure our mirror works. It folds, that's an improvement. Make sure it moves in every position. Up, down, left, and right. Make sure our light for our blind spot works. And we'll make sure that our camera is working. The little section on the left side of the car would not be there if the camera wasn't working. So we're all good. We're going to go ahead and clean off all the writing from the salvage yard. You want to use a fresh razor blade for this so we don't risk scratching the glass with one of the rusty ones we find on the ground. I learned my lesson. I stopped being cheap. But don't worry, we'll throw this one on the ground for use at a later date. So our mirror came all the way from Canada and happened to be the right color. But that's not the real reason I bought it from Canada. The reason I bought it from Canada, it was the cheapest one available, well, in North America. So if I were to try to find a cheaper one somewhere else and it was the wrong color, it wouldn't really bother me because my cover was still good on the back, the only painted part here, and you can swap them out. So if you find one that happens to be the cheapest around, even with shipping, and it's the wrong color, and you don't want to send it out to have it painted, I'm going to show you how to take this cover off and swap it over so that you can save yourself a couple bucks. So let's take it apart and see what it takes. The first part we need to remove is our glass. And ours is still good, so I'm going to try to do it without breaking it. There's 4 little clips on the back. I know my head's in the way, but you still wouldn't be able to see it anyway. You just want to put the little pick in there and then twist it. If you tilt the glass in one direction, you can usually see it. Once you get one of them to come out, the other ones are usually pretty friendly. So we got one, and the other one's popped out. So there's those clips. There's 4 of them. Just put the pick in there and rotate it, and it'll unclip it. And that's what they look like close up. You don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the glass out of here just to give myself the opportunity to stab myself in the finger, and also so that you guys can see a little better what I'm doing. These 2 little single wires for the heater, you do want to make sure you don't just pull on them. They will break off the glass. So we just kind of use the pick to disengage them and then pry them off. Now we're going to take the motor assembly out. There's just 3 screws. And set it off to the side. We don't have to unplug it. And the reason we take that off is there's a couple clips behind it. There's 3 across the top that are pretty easy to see.
once the glass is gone. So we're going to unclip those. Hold it out with our thumb. Keep a little tension on it as we unclip the next one. Now that we got the 3 easy ones, we get the 3 harder ones. Sometimes if you get 1 or 2, everything will just pop off of there. And it did. And we didn't break anything. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The 2 on the bottom are the ones hidden behind that motor. That's why we had to pull those Phillips screws out of there. So now we can put it all back together. It goes back together a little bit different. We're going to put our motor back in first, screw it all down. We can go ahead and clip our mirror back in, plug all the plugs in. We want to make sure that tab goes in the little slot that's in the back of the mirror. And then just push the glass in. If you push too hard with your thumbs, you can shatter it. So you got to kind of make sure you're pushing right on those clips. Get them all to clip in there. And you can flip it over and peek through there, and you can kind of see the clips in there. And if you want to change this chrome piece, there's 1 screw in there, and you can change that signal. And you can even change the camera if you want to take it all apart. We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to put the cover on. Just line up all of our clips and snap it in there. Clips in a lot easier than it unclips. Now it's all back together. Maybe I'll throw it on eBay and our friends from Miami can pick it up and throw it on one of their cars.
That's all it takes to change your mirror on your RX350 or 450 hybrid. 17 to 19, I believe, is the same. It's really not that hard of a job. The hardest part is paying for it. And if you're wondering what a job like this cost, $2,700 is what Lexus wanted for it. I did it considerably cheaper, and most of the cost was just getting the mirror and having it shipped over from Canada. Had to pay for its passport. So we're gonna go ahead and return it, and we will see you on the next episode of When Garage Doors Attack. Thanks for watching.